following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Good morning. It is Monday morning. How are you today? Everything good with you? It's Monday, the 18th of February, 2019. This is Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks, the mid-morning talk and phone-in show for Dublin, by Dublin, and about Dublin. By the way, if you want to get in contact with us, you can send us an email to dublintalks@98fm.com. You can send us a private message through our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. So what have we got coming up on the programme today? In just a moment, so-called paedophile hunter groups are under the spotlight again today after one of their stings went horribly wrong yesterday. A group of vigilantes in a West Dublin housing estate beat a man up after the hunter group did a Facebook live video at the scene of the sting. We're going to be finding out whether or not you support these groups in literally taking the law into their own hands and literally doing what the guards are meant to be doing. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Also, a little bit later, parents are putting themselves under huge debt for communions. But would you be prepared to put your daughter, for example, into a communion dress worth €35? Well, one of the German retailers is actually doing exactly that. They are selling communion dresses for €35. Now, it's a lovely looking dress, I have to say, but we're asking whether or not you would actually be happy enough to put your daughter into a communion dress worth €35. We'll deal with that a little bit later on. Also, do you ever make a mountain out of your mashed potato as a grown adult? But we're going to be discussing childish habits that we've carried into adulthood. And we all have one, don't we? Yeah, we do. I want to touch on this as well if we get a chance. Service charges in restaurants. I'm going to be talking to a man who wants to see them scrapped. All that and much more between now and midday today, live from Dublin City Centre. This is Adrian Kennedy, and this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Now, first off on the programme today, there are several, so-called paedophile hunter groups operating in Ireland at the moment. And if you aren't aware of these groups and what they do, here's a quick rundown. They set up fake social media accounts posing as young girls, or in some cases boys. They're called decoy accounts. They then wait for strangers with an unhealthy interest in underage people to contact them, and usually the conversation turns sexual. The paedophile hunters, posing as a child, then organise a meeting with the adult. They then arrive at the location with a camera crew or a mobile phone or whatever, and they put the video up on Facebook Live as it happens, and as they are throwing the allegations at the suspect. They then call the police and continue to video until the Gardaí arrive. Now, they do these stings regularly, but over the weekend, one of their stings went wrong, and this has put them under the spotlight. And the question we're asking today is, do these so-called pedo hunter groups cause more harm than good? Is it time to outlaw these groups? Are they glorified vigilantes? Or are they doing the work that the Gardaí don't seem to be able to do, targeting alleged paedophiles? Now, as I said, they are under the spotlight because yesterday a man in a housing estate in West Dublin was beaten up by a mob after a paedophile hunters group broadcast the sting live on Facebook. Now, a crowd of around 12 beat the man with sticks and punches after the sting was going out live on Facebook. The group are now under the spotlight, and Gardaí have spoken out about it, saying it's the role of the Gardaí to investigate crimes like this. So clearly the sting went wrong yesterday, and we don't want to talk about that case specifically because the man involved in that sting, in the eyes of the law, is innocent of all allegations put to him by the group. We do have laws in Ireland, and those laws clearly state that you are innocent until proven guilty by a court of law. So I don't want to talk about that case. I don't want to talk about that video. I don't want to reference it. But what I want to talk about is the dangers that these sites can create. Here's the question I want to ask you. Do you think it is time to crack down on these hunter groups? What happened in this housing estate yesterday shows how sometimes these groups can cause more harm than good. So is it time that they were outlawed? Do you agree with the Gardaí that these sorts of things should be left up to the Gardaí? Let me give you some quotes from the Gardaí speaking to the Independent. And here's what they said. They wouldn't comment on specific activities of such groups, but they said, the activity engaged in and the manner of confrontation between such groups and their targets has the potential for violence. There are also concerns over the legality of the actions of such groups operating in Ireland and that they have the potential to affect future criminal proceedings. And the spokesman went on to say that the role of the Gardaí is to investigate crime and enforce legislation, and they have urged anyone with information relating to the potential sexual exploitation of children to report it immediately to An Garda Síochána. And this is where there is a problem. These vigilante groups amass a certain amount of information that they claim is evidence of proposed wrongdoing. But when they get to that stage, they confront the person themselves rather than having or handing over this wad of evidence to the Gardaí and letting the Gardaí confront the person themselves. And it is for that reason that you can term these groups vigilantes. Because a vigilante is somebody who essentially takes the law into their own hands and deals with matters that should properly be dealt with by the Gardaí. And I'd love to hear from you on this. On 6797 981, you can text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. Let me read out the legal definition of the word vigilante. A member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their community without legal authority. That's the key bit, without legal authority. Typically because they claim the legal agencies aren't thought to be adequate or are thought to be inadequate. So what I want to do is I want to, for once and for all, find out how you feel about this. And I want to run a Dublin Talks text poll. And the question that I want to ask is simple. Do you support the activities of these paedophile hunter groups? What I want you to do is simply text the word yes or the word no to 0877 98 98 98. Simply text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. The question once again is, do you support the activities of these paedophile hunter groups? Simply text the word yes or the word no to 0877 98 98 98. As I said, the Gardaí are basically saying that they have the potential to affect future criminal proceedings. They are have the potential for violence. There's also concerns over the legality of the actions. And the Gardaí say it is their job to deal with issues like this. It is their job to track down people with wrongdoing, and they're urging people who may have information to contact them directly. Call me right now on 6797 981, and as I said, I want you to text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. And the question once again is, do you support the activities of these paedophile hunter groups? Send us a text with the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Jason, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Jason?
Morning, Adrian.
Morning, Jason. How are you?
Not too bad.
Now, I mentioned this already, and I'll mention it again. I don't want to focus on what happened yesterday because I don't want to in any way identify the individual involved. Because
I can't even remember his name.
That's fine. Okay, because by law, this man is not guilty of anything until he is proven guilty by a court of law, which he hasn't been. Okay, so let's just deal with that.
Touch on one thing now? No names, nothing like that. Now, what you said earlier was he was attacked by 10 or 12 people, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but I actually watched that whole thing live, and I watched other videos from shots from across the road and what have you. Them 10 people that were around him, 4 of them were attacking him. 5 of them were security stopping them attacking him, and 2 or 3 of them were the actual hunters.
Okay, right.
So there was only 4 people.
Okay, here's the problem with these stings as I see it, Jason. And firstly, the fact that these groups are broadcasting live on Facebook is in itself an attraction because you're highlighting this is happening right now, right this very minute.
Yeah, and so I'm actually glad he did, because that's 5 minutes from my front door that guy is living.
Okay, but again, Jason, I don't want to talk about the guy. I don't want to talk about...
I'm not talking about him, but I'm talking about...
Okay, but my point is, doesn't it...
I'm delighted that he broadcast, because now we know what's living beside him.
Okay, but the point I'm trying to make is... Okay, I use the word vigilante. I've defined what the word vigilante means. And I know these groups get very upset when they're called vigilantes, but a vigilante is a member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement.
Vigilante brings up a whole different thing.
Yes, of course it does.
Going out with baseball bats attacking people.
Exactly.
That's
okay,
brings into mind.
But is that what we want in our society, Jason? That people, because they see... No, hang on. Well, sorry, Jason, yesterday was just short of baseball bats. Let's be honest, okay?
I understand what you're saying, but in 1 minute you say don't talk about it, now you're bringing it up again.
No, but the point that I'm trying to make is that these videos being broadcast live on Facebook incite this sort of thing.
No.
But it happened.
Hang on a sec. The people actually recording them videos, stay on the videos, please don't come down. So they're not inciting it, the opposite of inciting it, they're asking people to stay away.
But as we saw, people didn't stay away.
I understand that, and I can understand why people didn't stay away.
Okay, let me deal with the things that the Gardaí have said. Right? Obviously, if somebody is intending to abuse a child or is abusing a child, we need that person taken off our streets. Okay, but one of the things that the Gardaí say in their statement is the manner in which these groups operate and how they interact with their chosen targets to and during the arranged meeting, this is the key line here, has the potential to affect future criminal proceedings.
But they don't know that because they've never tried.
So, but even if it has,
until the guards actually take
even if it has the potential,
until the guards take it to court and actually test the law, we don't know what way it will work out. In the UK, they've got convictions. They convicted your man Craven now.
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, the law, it does work. It just depends on if they actually bother their ass to take it to court.
Okay, so let's look at cases where they may have...
Hang on a sec, just let me say this. Until it's tested in court, this whole conversation means nothing because we don't know what way it's going to go in court. They could get convictions left, right and centre. We just don't know because the guards haven't done it yet.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if the Gardaí successfully prosecute a case based on the evidence from a group like this, then these groups won't be needed anymore. Is that what you're saying?
No. Then it stands up that what the groups are doing is okay if they get convictions.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Jason. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. And I want you to keep your votes coming in on our question today. And the question is very simple. Do you support the activities of these paedophile hunter groups? So yesterday in West Dublin, it all went pear-shaped, basically. A sting operation, which was being broadcast live on Facebook, resulted in a individual being assaulted quite badly by all accounts. And as I said, the Gardaí have issued a statement, not specifically about that incident, and indeed I don't want to talk about that incident specifically. I want to talk about these incidents. And in their statement, the Gardaí said that confrontations like this have the potential for violence. There is concern over the legality of the actions of such groups, that they have the potential to affect future criminal proceedings, and finally, that it is the role of the Gardaí to investigate stuff like this. So I want you to text the word yes or the word no to 0877 98 98 98. Do you support the activities of groups like this? It's a simple question with a simple answer, yes or no, and send it to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Do you support the activities of groups like this? And as I said, people don't like us using the word vigilante to describe groups like this, but again, I'll give you the definition of vigilante: a member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their community without legal authority. And that's the bottom line. Where am I going next? John, you're on 98 FM. How are you, John?
Good morning. I just wanted to say, I actually do agree with what the groups are doing. But what I'd like to understand is, when they have all that information together, rather than going live on the internet and sitting there for half an hour waiting for the police to arrive, why don't they just go to the police first? We're all that information, we're all that evidence, and let them take over, rather than the case they've already built up.
Okay, now, looking at some of the comments on social media over the last 24 hours, one of the reasons they say is, Gardaí, what Gardaí? They don't prosecute, they haven't successfully prosecuted somebody based on one of these fake accounts, basically, where there is the intent. Now, it did happen, it has happened in the UK, but it hasn't happened here. And that's their concern.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, when they put it up on the internet, they're jeopardising everything. Do you know what I mean? As you said earlier on, innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
Okay, now if the evidence is there, the police have there's no objection only to go ahead with the case once the evidence is there and strong enough. But when they do put it up on the internet, they're jeopardising everything they've done over the last couple of months. I mean, what they're doing is fantastic. But the way they're going about it, I think that...
Okay, so you believe that they should continue to amass this sort of evidence and arrange meetings and everything else, but involve the Gardaí at that point?
Don't go to the meeting on their own. Don't take the law into their own hands. Go to the Gardaí, go to the police commissioner, go to wherever they have to go to, and have police with them, even plainclothes police officers with them from the minute they meet this guy.
Jason,
and then
you see, this is the problem.
No, hang on, let me just answer that there, right? He said, why don't you go to the guards with the evidence?
Yes.
He tried that, and the guards took no action, okay? Because the guards believe that it has to be a real child that's being abused, not just the intent to. And
abuse. I do understand that, and I do understand. Hang on, and let me just clarify this. There is a difference in the UK where they have, and the case of Kieran Craven is a case in point. This was in Leeds in England, and it was a sting operation, but he was arrested, charged, and convicted for that, even though he didn't actually meet anybody. So
no, but he had the intent to do it.
Okay, so your point here is
down in writing for he did it himself.
Okay, your point is that they need to the Gardaí need to prosecute a case.
Real child. That's the way the Garda are looking at it, because they haven't tested it in court yet. Now they're saying that's the way it'll go, but they don't know because they haven't tried. You know what I mean?
All right, do me a favour, stay in the line there for 1 second, and John, hang on there as well if you can, please. Our telephone number is 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. The lines are on fire here, so we'll try and get through as many calls as we can. We're talking about so-called paedophile hunter groups and asking whether or not you support the activities of groups like this, who, no matter what definition I give you, they fall in the category of vigilante groups. And I know they don't like that, and I know that they're motivated by wanting to catch people who have ill intent towards children, and everybody accepts that their motivation is genuine. However, when I read that doing this sort of thing has the potential to affect future criminal proceedings, that worries me. It really does. That somebody who may have ill intent towards children might never be prosecuted, or if they are, the case could be thrown out of court because of the way in which they've been identified. And it is for that reason that I am so cautious about identifying anybody involved in the incident yesterday. Now, we have invited the group involved onto the programme, and so far they haven't accepted our offer, but they have been contacted. We have spoken to them, and we have invited them on the programme. Anyway, keep your votes coming in. Text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Do you support the activities of these so-called paedophile hunter groups? A quick break and we're back in just a second.
98 FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala.
98 FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Our telephone number is 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. We're in the middle of a conversation all to do with paedophile hunter groups, and in particular a statement from the Gardaí where they basically, and they've said this several times, this isn't the first time they've said this, but the Gardaí have said the activity engaged in and the manner of confrontation between such groups and their targets has the potential for violence. And we saw that yesterday. There are also concerns over the legality of the actions of such groups operating in Ireland, and the manner in which these groups operate has the potential to affect future criminal proceedings. That's the line that really gets to me. Has the potential to affect future criminal proceedings. And the Gardaí go on to say it's their job to deal with this. I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. Where am I going to next? Line 1. Stephen, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, Adrian. Yourself?
What did you want to say on this, Stephen?
Do you remember last year we had a discussion about this? There was another incident, I think it was from a northern group.
That's correct.
And we had the discussion that over 100, I think it was the actual figure was 169 cases were provided by these groups to both the Northern Police and our own Gardaí. 0 convictions came from them, Adrian. So, listen, I understand what they're doing, and we all want to stop what paedophiles do. But when you look at it logically, if you're damaging cases, sure, that's worse than anything. That's worse than actually the act that the paedophiles are doing. You're interfering with justice. People need to get that into their heads.
So, okay, on the one hand, the argument is that the Gardaí aren't dealing with this problem. The Gardaí aren't doing stings themselves. The Gardaí aren't trying to catch these people. And the Gardaí don't seem to be prosecuting cases unless a child has actually been abused. Where with these sting operations, they're fake accounts and the person, the alleged paedophile, hasn't actually done anything wrong per se, in that but it was their intent to do wrong. Do you believe...
The problem there, Adrian, is there's no actual victim until the act happens.
Yes.
And that's the problem with the law. Until that changes, they're actually doing more harm. Now, don't get me wrong, we don't want paedophiles to get away with anything, but if you're jeopardising cases, you need to look at this logically.
And that's the line out of the Garda statement that gets to me the most. Has the potential to affect future criminal proceedings.
Okay, so say if they are right one day, and this fella, one guy or a woman, whatever, has made horrible acts against children, And their actions then prevent that person from being locked up.
Yes, I mean, one of the arguments is somebody who is videoed on Facebook Live and it's been seen by 250,000 people could argue reasonably in court that they can't get a fair trial because of how widespread that video has become.
Yeah, and it's happened, Adrian. It's not a myth. This is happening all the time.
So you would agree with the previous caller who said we need to take information like this directly to the Gardaí. So in other words, these groups, if they have built up a dossier of information on this person and what they want to do with a teenager or whatever, that's when they should involve the guards.
Absolutely.
All right, stay there.
You really don't know what the guards are doing behind the scenes, Adrian. Maybe they can't tell you what's going on.
Okay, stay there for a second. Let me go to Rachel. You're on 98 FM, Rachel. How are you?
Oh, God, thank God. I was going crazy there.
What did you want to say?
Adrian, I have to say, right, first off, I want to say something. I absolutely detest violence. But in cases like this, they are actually not going to just... sorry, I just opened the door here. They actually aren't going to impede or affect any future cases. And the reason being, it's actually not illegal. In this country... In England, it's been made illegal. Over here, it's not illegal for a man or any paedophile to groom a child. So, therefore, no case can be taken. Sorry,
Rachel. It is illegal to groom a child. It is.
No, it's not.
Hang on for 1 second. The difference is in these cases, they aren't actually grooming a child. They're grooming a fake account that they believe to be a child, but there isn't actually a child.
How can I put this through? I don't actually put this out. Through personal experience, not for myself, but from someone extremely close to me. I'm literally not going through it, but kind of going through a thing with someone, okay? It is not illegal for them to groom a child. The guards can do absolutely nothing unless they actually touch the child. Unless they actually lay a finger on the child, they can do nothing. The guards can actually do nothing. And I've had that from the guards, from, I don't want to say the place.
No. Please be very careful, Rachel, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I've had that basically from the horse's mouth.
Okay, let me just go back. Okay, so what is achieved then? If all that you're saying is true, what is even achieved by approaching one of these people other than encouraging people to violence, as we saw yesterday?
Okay, and I understand that, but let me explain what I feel is achieved. What I feel is achieved is I would like to know if I allow my child out on the road to play that she's safe or he's safe, that they're safe there, that they don't actually go out without me, but if they get older, and I need to know that they're safe. I need to know that who they're around and where I let them be is as safe as possible for them. As safe as I can make it. Do you know what I mean? As safe as I can. If I know there is someone out there that can potentially harm my kids, I can do what I can do as a parent to keep them away from certain places, people, things. Do what I have to do as a parent to protect them. And I can do my job as a parent better. Do you know what I mean? But I think, yes, they definitely need... and the thing is, over in England, if you actually check it out, these, what you call vigilante groups, what I actually call... Well, I actually think they're fantastic. I think if you actually check it out over in England, they done it like it's done over here. And when it became legal, they had to blur out people's names, people's faces, all of that. They were able to put the videos up, but everything had to be taken, like any information or that was taken down, location, any of that. And then only when it was got through in court, then they were able to release the name and the face.
You see, this but this is the problem. And I explained this already, Rachel. We have laws in Ireland which are there to protect us, okay?
Can I be honest, Adrian? The laws, the guards, I have been honest, I'm dealing with this. The guards do want to do something about this. They do, but they don't because they can't. And I've heard that from them, because they can't. Because the amount of...
Okay, well, answer me this, Rachel. What is achieved? What is achieved, then, with groups like this? If you're saying the guards can do nothing, what is achieved, then?
I think it makes awareness and it keeps kids safer. And that's the end line, is that it keeps kids safer. It lets parents know, listen, there's someone around here that can potentially harm your child. That could literally.
But again, I'm going to go back to the point I was about to make to you, Rachel. I'm going to go back to the point that I was about to make, and that is that in this country, our law states that we are innocent until a court of law proves us guilty. Okay?
I get that, Adrian, but I'm going to be honest with you.
But these groups...
I get that. If it was your child, and your child came to you and said something to you, are you telling me you would say, well, sorry, child, I can't go and do anything about it because I need to show that that person is guilty before being proven innocent?
That's completely different when you're talking... No. 1 second, Rachel, hang on. It is in that you're talking about my child, okay?
Yeah,
that's completely different.
But we're talking about other people's kids, so it's the same for everyone else then. Why have people not got the right to know if there is someone that can potentially harm their kids around near them, so that the parents can do what they need to do to protect their kids, as in make sure they're not going here unsupervised, they're not going there unsupervised, they're not alone, you're with them, bloody, like all the proper steps. And I don't mean running out, going out, killing someone. I mean the proper steps you take to protect your kids. Do you know what I mean? And I'm saying that's what it is, because at the end of the day, if that wasn't a decoy, that was another person, that would have been another child. Okay, stay there for 1 second, Rachel. Let me just play this WhatsApp voice message which has come in to us on 0877 98 98 98. This message is from Dan.
Adrian, you're saying what is achieved through all this. The reason they do it is for exposure. No other reason than exposure. That's why they're doing it. Because the guys are going to do nothing. Because they can't. Because the laws are a joke. And it's not illegal until the child has already been abused, which is then it's too late. So it's about prevention and exposure. And these scumbags might think twice before they go and do it next time. And at least if the guy they're going to do nothing, at least everybody in the neighbourhood knows who they are. And that's why they're doing it. And fair play to them.
Okay, but the point I would make, and I've made it already, is what happened to innocent until proven guilty? That's my argument here. You are in law innocent until proven guilty. So what gives a group the right to find somebody guilty? Yes, they may have evidence. Yes, they may have compiled an awful lot of information on the person and their intent to abuse. But we still have laws that make you innocent until proven guilty. Tony, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Tony?
Hello, how are you?
Good, Tony. What did you want to say on this?
What I want to say is basically what you've been saying. I support what they're doing. I support their efforts, but it's just they're going about it in the wrong way.
What is the right way, then?
The right way is get every information, give it to the guards. Yeah, the guards have their own system. They have what they need to do. They need to find out for sure. They need to conduct their own investigation, and that might take longer. So people just have to be patient when they give it to the guards, instead of pulling their own thing and giving the person an excuse to walk in the future.
Okay, well, the question that we asked our listeners, and I'm going to give you the results of our poll. The question that we asked our listeners is, do you support the activities of groups like these operating here in Ireland? And here's the result of the poll. If we're talking about public opinion and whether or not these groups have public support, 71% of people who voted in our poll said yes, they support the activities of these groups, regardless of what the guards have said. What do you say to that, Tony? That 71% of people support what these groups are doing?
Yeah, I get where they're coming from. But I, too, get where the guards are coming from. It's not helping them at all. What you're doing is putting out somebody's name and identity out there. What if the person is innocent? You can't dangle cheese in front of a rat and not expect them to eat it. What if the person had no intentions of doing anything and the decoy led them to it? There are so many angles you have to consider before putting someone's name and face out there and calling them something that they're not, until it is proven. They have not committed a crime yet. So you cannot put their face up. What if... But
Tony, the argument here is that in the UK, for example, there have been convictions based on intent. And the case of The RTE producer fella Kieran Craven is a case in point. He was found guilty in court in Leeds of the intent to meet somebody. Now, meet a child for sexual activity. He didn't actually, but the intent was there. Isn't that where we need to be here? That the information that these groups managed to gather should be enough to get a conviction?
In a way, it should, but the law is different from the way that we are seeing it. Intent, maybe the RTE guy, I don't know about that case particularly, but who knows what the police had on him. But all these normal people that are just putting their faces up, it's not fair, it's not right. I get where they're coming from. These people could be pedophiles. But unless you catch them red-handed, you can't just assume or gather your own evidence, get your own stuff and put someone's name and face out there. Anything could happen to any of these lads. They could, after a thing, go out one night and something will happen to them and nobody will give a damn. Everybody will call them a pedophile. Yeah, that they deserve it. What if they didn't?
All right. Okay, Tony, thank you. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. If you've just joined us, we're in the middle of a conversation about so-called paedophile hunter groups. And the point has been made by the Gardaí that the activity engaged in and the manner of confrontation between such groups and their targets has the potential for violence. And this was proven yesterday in West Dublin when a mob attacked the target of one of these groups and beat him quite severely. The Gardaí also say that it has the potential to affect future criminal proceedings. There are concerns over the legality of the actions of such groups, and it is the role of the Gardaí to investigate crime. We're going to be speaking to one of these so-called groups straight after the break.
98 FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala.
98 FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. We're in the middle of a conversation all to do with paedophile hunter groups, and in particular a statement by the Gardaí in which they are very concerned about the activities of such groups. The activity engaged in and the manner of confrontation between such groups and their targets has the potential for violence, they say. There are also concerns over the legality of the actions of such groups and that they have the potential to affect future criminal proceedings. Now, I'm joined on the line by Louise, who is the lady who was behind the particular incident yesterday that we're talking about that turned to violence essentially after a video went live. Now, Louise, I can't stress the importance of us not identifying where this happened, not identifying the individual that you cornered, and I need to keep this to a general discussion. And the reason for that is that we are governed by very strict laws with regard to libel and so on. So we're agreed on that before we start talking?
Yeah, I'm very well aware of that.
That's fine. Okay. And the difference is we are governed by very strict laws, but it would appear with Facebook you're governed by nothing.
Well, you know what? Sorry, what's your Adrian?
Yeah.
Yeah, Adrian. At the end of the day, we're a great country for brushing everything under the carpet. And, you know, when people don't see it, it means it didn't happen. And unfortunately in this country, a lot of children are being groomed online and nothing is happening. We get many messages in from parents who tell us that their real child has been groomed online sexually by these predators. And they go to the guards, and what the guards tell them is, oh, look, just block and delete them. Well, that's fine, blocking and deleting them, because then that child is safe. But then you're moving it on then to somebody else's child, and they're being groomed. And, you know, they might not come out and tell their parents what has been going on. And, you know, some of these cases, the child hasn't said anything. It was when the parent has gone to check a device that's when they find out then that their child is actually being groomed, and some of them quite sexually.
Okay, Louise, we all want people who would groom a child, who would sexually abuse a child, who would cause any harm to a child. We all want, and I speak for absolutely everybody listening to this programme right now, we all want those people taken out of circulation, locked away in prison, and have the keys thrown away. We all want that, okay?
Absolutely.
Right. So, when you are doing your sting operations, do you achieve that at all?
Well, you see, what we have to achieve, what you have to understand, Adrian, is, yes, there's laws there to, if a child is harmed, but there's no law for prevention of it. Okay? So the law states that it's against the law to groom a child sexually online. Groom a child or groom sexually. Now, why are we as a nation that doesn't want this? Why are we waiting until a child is abused or raped before this law comes into effect? Why isn't there laws for intent? There's no laws for intent.
Okay, and as we mentioned, in the UK, they have had successful prosecutions based on intent, and that's what you want to see happening here.
Absolutely. As a group, CPA, like, we don't only decoy predators in Ireland, we'll also decoy predators in the UK. Between all of us in CPA, we have over 60 convictions in the UK.
But none here.
None here, because there's no laws here protecting our
So is this not something that you need to be, talking to the Minister for Justice about and protesting outside the Department of Justice?
Well, you know what? That's a very good question. If the Minister for Justice would reply to my emails for requesting a meeting, that would surely happen. I would make myself available for that. But when you're sending emails after emails and you're being ignored and you're being pushed off to a different department, and then they're telling you, yeah, they'll get back to you in due course, and you're still left waiting weeks and weeks later, where'd you go from there?
Okay, Louise, let me read a little bit of the statement from the Gardaí. And I've read this several times, but again, I'll read this to you. That the manner in which groups like your own operate has the potential to affect future criminal proceedings. Is that what you want to do?
Well, what they're actually talking about there, Adrian, is not the actual crime that has the potential to affect the criminal proceedings. What they're talking about was us live streaming it, okay? So, which is fine.
Okay, but let's deal with that for a second.
Just let me finish for a second,
okay, go on,
right?
go on.
Because I asked one question, so just let me finish that. So, when they say that to me, my thing to them is, well, that's fine. Well, then you stop doing crime calls, because they're doing the very same thing on crime calls. They're putting people out there that haven't been convicted in a court of law, and they're putting their faces out there, and they're potentially going to get them attacked when they walk down the street.
But
So
sorry, in those cases, Louise, they publish videos where you can actually see the crime happening. You can see it.
Well, for example, and I'll be very honest, I don't watch much telly, but I did catch a bit of crime call just last month. And they posted a video on it that a lady had dropped, I think, her wallet at an ATM machine. A lady in a buggy came along and picked that wallet up. Now, they wanted to talk to her in regards to that wallet. Now, who's not to say that that lady picked that wallet up, walked into a shop and said, by the way, I found that outside in case somebody come in. Can you make sure that they get it? Because they might come back here and ask you, right? How do we know that hasn't happened?
Okay, Louise, the key question here is, why do you need to... firstly, I have to let you know that 71% of our listeners support the work that you do, okay? And that's important to let you know. So in terms of public opinion, people support you doing what you're doing. But why do you need to do what you do live on Facebook? Why live? Why not record the whole thing and then put the video up afterwards?
Right. So if you record something, as we all know, recordings can be edited. When you live stream, that cannot be edited. That goes straight. It doesn't record your phone. It doesn't stay in your phone. The live stream goes straight to Facebook, and the guards can take that off Facebook. So they cannot come back and say to us, well, that's been edited or anything like that. Now, the reason we do live stream also is because before I've been accused, when we started this off, I've been accused of attacking a predator. Now, when the guards went back and looked at the live feed, I was actually nowhere near the predator. I wasn't actually even talking to him.
Okay, but the danger, though, with live streaming it is exactly what happened yesterday, that a mob turned up to attack the person.
Right, well, let's get... I know the papers have all said, a mob has turned up.
Well, whatever it was, there was violence ensued as a result of the video actually being live at that moment.
Yeah, but let's go back to the word mob, what the papers had used. One of the local councillors had come out and said, yeah, there was a lot of beeping of cars, people going by, but one of the councillors came out and said that when she went by, there was about 20 people there, which there was. So if that's what you want to class as a mob, by all means, yeah.
But sorry, Louise, and again, I want to be very careful not to hone in on this particular incident, but the live nature of the Facebook videos attracts a crowd, or at least it did yesterday.
It did attack a crowd coming along, and you know.
And I could hear in that video, Louise, you very uncomfortable with the crowd arriving. You saying that they're screwing things up for you, or words to that effect.
Absolutely. You know, do we condone violence? Absolutely not. If we condoned the violence, we wouldn't be going live. We would be dealing with them ourselves. We don't do that. You know, we hand over every single bit of evidence to the guards. Every single little bit of evidence.
Okay, stay there for 1 second, Louise. I just want to play this message that's come in to me on WhatsApp.
Adrian, I think these people are just a load of vigilantes, mobs and thugs. I mean, you can't just go around videoing people like they're judging them. It's not up to them to judge. It's up to them to give the information to the guards and let it go to court and let the guards build a case in it. I mean, God forbid, like they're putting this guy's face all over social media. What if he was innocent? And God forbid he decided to take his own life over, or his life is over if he's innocent. I mean, it's not up to them. It's up to them to build a case, give it to the Gardaí, and let the Gardaí build a case then and let it go to court. They're jeopardising cases because putting these guys' faces all over social media, and it's absolute disgrace.
Now, Louise, what do you say to that? Oh, sorry, there you are. Sorry. Yeah, go on.
We actually have done that. We have handed cases over to the police and they've done absolutely nothing with it. So much so that the predator actually started contacting a hell of a lot more decoys. And there's actually real children involved in that case as well.
Okay, so essentially what I'm hearing from you is that until the Gardaí start prosecuting cases based on intent, groups like yours will continue.
Absolutely. And you know what, Adrian, there's more groups in Ireland now that's popping up.
No, I know that, yeah.
You know, there's not just ours, but you know, we have handed cases to the guards. You know, we have handed devices over to the guards where we have gotten indecent images of children, and nothing has come of them. Absolutely nothing.
Okay, let me ask you one final question, Louise, because you've been fairly high profile with a lot of videos like this, with a lot of sting operations. Why you? Why did you decide to put yourself forward for this?
Why not? Why not? Someone needs to stand out there for our children. Someone needs to protect our children. You know, we need exposure because there's no law here in Ireland for intent. We need to know who's around our children at all costs. You know, years ago, and I'm sure, Adrian, you'll probably agree with me, years ago when we were growing up, you were always told, mind the dirty old man up the road, don't go near him. It was always a stigma of the dirty old man. It's like my videos show, it's not that dirty old man. It's, you know, we've had many, many people from different aspects. And
yes, young and old, yes.
Old, exactly. You know, there's been women that have been caught over in the UK as well. So, you know, we need to expose these to prevent children from being raped. I just can't understand.
Finally, Louise, we've seen what's happened in the UK, that there have been prosecutions based on intent. Yet these groups like your own, continue to operate. Why, if the law is now in place, and if they're, in other words, what I'm getting at is, if we, and I hope we do, enact laws that somebody can be prosecuted based on intent to abuse, if that happens, would that not stop you then? Would there be no need for you anymore?
Well, the reason, like, I would obviously be in touch with a lot of the groups over in the UK, and the reason they continue is the police over there don't have the resources to go online, and I'm sure it'd be the same here. The police don't have, the guards don't have the resources to be going online, acting like children, And, you know...
Okay, so they're needed to basically beef up the work of the police because they don't have the resources. All right, look, I'm out of time, Louise. Your final word is that you will continue to do what you're doing until prosecutions start happening for intent.
Absolutely.
All right, good to talk to you, Louise. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today, and we could take calls on that until the cows come home, but unfortunately we're out of time. We've devoted quite enough time to it. But as you could hear quite clearly, those groups will continue to operate. After the break, why some of us will never, ever grow up. 98. Live and exclusive to Dublin's 98 FM, Monday through Friday between 10 and midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're with 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And Trish is here with Monday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Gardaí are investigating an alleged assault on a man in Ballyfermot after being confronted by so-called paedophile hunters. He was targeted on the street yesterday afternoon and attacked. Gardaí say the actions of such groups are a cause of concern as they've the potential for violence and could affect future criminal proceedings. The encounter was filmed and posted online. Dublin City Council CEO Owen Keegan has been asked to apologise for claiming homeless service can be an attractive option. Speaking to the Sunday Business Post, he said massive investment in homeless services has led to a reluctance in some people to move on, but Sinn Féin TD Owen O'Brien has disagreed with his comments. And we'll find out the revised route for the Metrolink rail line in early March. It follows calls for the Southside line to run to Rathfarnham instead of Sandyford. Last week, Fingal County Council called on the National Transport Authority to start the North Side section ASAP. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
It's Monday morning. Good morning to you. I hope everything is good with you. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks, the mid-morning talk and phone-in show for Dublin, by Dublin, and about Dublin. Now, that was a heavy enough hour, so let's lighten things up for a couple of minutes. And our Jeremy is here with me.
I'm the light relief.
You're the light relief.
Yes,
very good.
thank you.
Okay, welcome, and thank you.
Have you grown up?
Some would say no.
Here's the thing. None of us grow up. Most of you listening at the moment are all adults, so maybe you consider yourself adults and you consider yourselves very mature and all that and very adult-like. But the fact of the matter is, we keep traits from our childhood into adulthood, according to the news today, where adults are admitting their childish habits. Now, hang on just a sec.
What are you biting your nails for? Oh, it's a childish habit.
It is a childish habit that I still have. I also still pick my nose. Do you pick your nose?
Everybody does, do they not?
Yeah. You assume the Queen wouldn't pick her nose, would she?
There might be times she has to.
But Michael T. Higgins, is he sitting here listening to the show in the Oris picking his nose?
I don't know.
I got my leshke. Let me just pick my nose here.
But anyway, the point being that there are things that we all did as kids that we still do.
Yes, the 29 most childish habits that adults have been revealed. And the scary thing about this, Adrian, is that 29 of them, I probably do a lot of them. Now, I want you to have a look at me for a second, because this is the radio. So I want you to have a look at this and tell me what I have done that is very childish. Have a look. I'm standing up there. Look.
Really? If I can just describe what Jeremy's just demonstrated and shown to me. Under his jumper, he has a T-shirt, like we all probably do. But his T-shirt is tucked into his underpants.
Yeah, this is something I first did when I was a... stop that. This is something I first did when I was a child, Adrian, and I continue to do it nowadays. And that is one of the childish habits that adults still have, tucking their T-shirt into their underpants. It's lovely, by the way. It's very comfortable.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
There's a lot more on this list of 29 different things. We want to hear your childhood habits, and Adrian's going to admit his in a moment as well, because you have one in particular that I know about, that's quite embarrassing, actually. When we're out for dinner together, you do it all the time. You don't even realise you're doing it.
Go on, remind me, because I don't know what you're talking about.
When Adrian's out for a meal in a restaurant and he has mashed potato, by the way, he always orders mashed potato.
I do, yes, I do.
He makes mountains out of his mashed potato.
No.
It doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. Not only does he make mountains out of his mashed potato, and I've seen him do this, he then gets the gravy from the sauce boat and pours it on top of the mashed potato to make it look like a volcano.
I don't do it in restaurants. Now, don't be telling lies. I've never done it in a restaurant, but I do it at my own kitchen table. I do.
You have actually done it in a restaurant.
No, I didn't. Don't be telling lies. We would love to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. We want to talk about the childish habits that you still have in adulthood, like making
volcano,
volcano with your mashed potatoes. Yes. I do it, and or like Jeremy, who tucks his underpants, his t-shirt into his underpants.
Yep,
it's quite
very
funny.
Very comfortable. So these are childhood habits that we keep into adulthood.
All right, text or WhatsApp us right now on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What childish things do you still do in your adult life?
Now, can I give you some of the top ones that people still do? And let's find out, do people do this? 10% of adults still lick their plate when they're finished.
Oh, believe it or not, that's brilliant, because I just got a text exactly about that. My brother still licks his plate after dinner.
I didn't know that was still a thing.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Just to make sure it's all gone.
15% of adults, Adrian, when their plate is empty at the end, they get a piece of bread and soak up the... do you do that?
I do that sometimes, yeah. I do.
So this is when you have a dirty plate, you basically get a piece of bread and you move it around the plate and clean it up. Now, one of the other things on the list, which I do, and I'm not ashamed to say it, have you ever heard of the Jedi wave?
No.
This is where when you're walking into a supermarket, now loads of you will have done, I presume I'm not the only one that does this. When you're walking into a supermarket, you know the automatic doors?
Correct.
You pretend you're a Jedi and you get your hand and you do the hand move and go and open the doors.
Really?
Okay. I'm clearly the only person that does
Okay,
that.
text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What childish thing do you still do in your adulthood? Like licking the plate?
But we need to find one human being that actually licks the plate. I don't believe people still lick the plate. Why would you do that?
If there's gravy or something on it. No, I don't do it myself.
But what do you do? Do you pick the plate up in your hand and then lick it with both your hands?
Some people do, yeah.
Oh,
I do the bread thing, I have to say. If there's a bit of gravy or something left on the plate after dinner, I will use bread to mop it up. Same difference as licking the plate, isn't it?
Yeah, I think licking the plate is going one step too far, isn't it?
Okay, keep your texts or WhatsApps coming in to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What childish thing do you still do in your adult life? Come on, admit it. Tell everybody.
1/4 of adults count the steps when they're going up the stairs.
Why would you do that?
Oh, I do that as well. Yeah, if I'm in a shop or something like that in the stairs, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because you did it when you were a kid. Have you ever kicked leaves on an autumn day?
Yes.
Okay, so you are a child at heart then.
I have done that, yeah.
So you kick leaves, lick plates, and make volcanoes out of mashed potato. You never did grow up, did you?
No, not really. James, you're on 98 FM. How are you, James?
How is it going, lads?
Now, James, what childish thing do you... And by the way, it doesn't have to be to do with food.
My veg into my potatoes.
You mash your veg into your potatoes?
I do indeed, and I get called a child all the time.
Well, only the other day, we had mashed potatoes and garden peas, yeah?
Right. So what are garden peas?
Frozen peas.
As opposed to what type of peas?
Mushy peas or marifats.
Oh, okay,
okay. So we had frozen garden peas. Anyway, I love them. And I mashed my peas into the mashed potato, yeah? And then put a bit of brown sauce and whooshed it all up.
That's definitely me.
Now, of course,
Definitely
lads,
me.
the reason our parents did that years ago was because, it was to cover up the veg, because no kids like vegetables. So what they used to do was they'd put the vegetables, she'd put the parsnips in the potatoes thinking that you wouldn't notice them.
Yeah.
She'd go, there you go, little Adrian.
There's your potatoes.
mashed potato. And you go, not realising you're eating parsnips.
But no, I do it intentionally now. I mash my peas into my potatoes and put a bit of brown sauce and yum, yum, yum.
Yeah.
You really are the beacon of healthy eating, Adrian. You know that. You really are.
That's right.
I'm on the same page as Adrian, so it's all good.
Now, despite the fact that Jeremy says I do this in a restaurant, I wouldn't do it in a restaurant. I would resist the temptation. Oh, would you?
Yes, I would, yeah.
Right.
And do you make volcanoes out of your mashed potatoes?
I don't. I just scoop it together and get it in.
Yeah, Adrian uses gravy as lava on his volcanoes.
All right, let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
Hi Adrian, my ex-husband still breaks up his bread roll at a wedding or a function into little bits and mashes it into his bowl of soup. Oh my God.
Oh, I do that as well.
That's why he's the ex-husband, I'm gathering, is it? You couldn't say married to a man who does that, could you?
Oh, I do that.
Oh, you break up the bread into little pieces and...
Yeah. And put it into my soup.
Oh, you did that at the Radio Awards last year. You were the laugh at the table.
Yeah, I was, yeah. Uh-oh. Dave, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Dave?
What's crack, folks?
Dave, what childish thing do you still do?
Build forts out of cushions and blankets.
Oh dear.
Oh dear is right.
No, look, I do it with my young fella, and I didn't start doing it again until he was a toddler, but I'd actually forgotten how good the crack was doing it.
Right.
Sounds like a hoot, doesn't it?
I don't know, man. I genuinely, it is. When the missus has gone away for the night and you get to run around with the child just being two big kids, and you're just lying under there watching movies and stuff, it is some buzz. You should try it, man.
Most men, when the missus goes away for a night, they might watch a football match or go to the pub with their lads, but Dave here makes a fort out of cushions.
I would rather drive a nail through my eyeballs and watch a football match. Give me a fort made of cushions and blankets with my young fella and some cartoons and I'm happy.
How many cushions do you need to make a fort, Adrian?
Quite a few.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah. We have a big old couch, so we have a big old cushion. So you use them for the structure, and then you get a couple of chairs on either side, and you drape the blankets over them. You throw some blankets on the inside.
Actually, sounds like a great evening.
Yeah, it actually does. Yeah.
It is actually genuinely, it is actually some buzz. It really is, especially if you've had a long shit week. It's the perfect amount of fluff to just chill you out and relax you.
So
try it, honest to God.
So if people are stressed in work, like a lot of people are, your recommendation is go home on a Friday, get all the pillows off your sofa and make a big fort in the middle of the living room.
Exactly, and I guarantee it'll work. Because, we spend way too much time being stressed out about adult stuff. It's nice to just regress and, lie off and watch cartoons with the kid for the night. I honest to God, lads, for me, it's like therapy. It works.
Well, here's me.
It's better than going to the pub and getting pissed and coming home at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, isn't it?
It actually isn't, to be honest with you. It actually isn't. I mean, the thoughts of it.
Come on, Jeremy, you just admitted that you pretend to be a Jedi walking into a shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, I do that too, so.
Do you do the Jedi wave as well?
Wave in front of the doors?
Yeah, I had my young fella convinced when he was a toddler that I was a Jedi and I was able to use the Force.
Well, that's the same. My young fella's still at that age where you believe any old crap I tell him.
Yeah.
And he thinks that when I go into the shopping centre, he calls me Obi-Wan Jeremy, he calls me. And we're walking up to the door, Dundrum, and he'll say, Obi-Wan Jeremy, use the Jedi Force. And I'll say, no problem. And I'll wave my hand across the door. And he's fascinated by the fact.
It's brilliant. And the look of just pure wonder in their eyes when you do it.
Okay, so I'm going over to Adrian's after the show today and we're going to build a fort together, Adrian.
Yeah, I'm not joking. Look, I'm not joking. The next time you're now maybe not Adrian and the wife, that's a bit weird. But yourself and the young fella, the next time you're really proper stressed out about just, life, bills and all the other shit, go home and build a fort with the young fella and watch cartoons. I guarantee you'll forget all your worries.
And do you sit in the fort when it's built?
Yeah, obviously, with the torch and everything.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah.
Dave, you need a night out. You need a night out with the lads.
It does sound like I used to do that as a kid. I'd love to do it again. Kevin. Oh, Kevin's gone. Sorry, we just lost Kevin. We'll try and get him back. Keep your messages coming in to us. 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What little thing did you do as a child that you still do as an adult? Okay? Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98.
Now, this is very worrying. This text that just came in, Adrian. I don't know how popular this is, but Darren, I presume, is an adult. And Darren has said in his message, I still play knick-knack even though I'm a grown adult.
Really?
When I walk by someone's house, I'll knock at their door and run away. It never becomes boring. Knick-knack is for adults too.
Now, I have to say I draw the line at that. Knick-knacking on somebody's door as a grown adult. Call me right now on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. What little thing did you do as a child that you still do as an adult? Is it build little forts in your house? Is it mashing your gravy? What is it? Mashing your peas into your potatoes and putting brown sauce on them? Let me go to line 1, and that is you, Shauna. You're on 98 FM. Hi, Shauna.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Shauna. Shauna, what is that one little thing that you still do as an adult?
I still sleep with a nightlight.
Oh. Are you afraid of the dark?
I was, but not really anymore. Now it's just like a comfort kind of thing.
So there's always a little bit of light in your room?
Yeah, just that little plug that you can put in. It's like shaped like a shell and just has a tiny little bit of light, and I just think it's really nice.
Yeah, no, we have them in our house as well. They're actually a great invention, to be honest.
I thought your wife removed all lights from the bedroom, Adrian. Actually.
Right, anyway, so you have a night light in your bedroom, so there's always a bit of light.
Yes.
And do you read yourself a bedtime story before you go to bed, or...?
No, I don't.
Okay, do you sleep with a cuddly toy?
Not anymore.
Oh, why? When did you stop? At what age did you stop sleeping with a cuddly toy?
Around 20.
What?
Okay. but you're over it now?
Yeah.
And what was the cuddly toy that you slept with until you were 20?
By Teddy.
What's the Teddy's name?
Teddy.
Oh, Teddy is the Teddy's name. And where is Teddy now?
He's in a drawer now.
You just put him in the drawer?
Yeah.
Why don't you... Here, will you do us a favour, Sean? Will you take Teddy out of the drawer tonight when you go to bed and sleep beside him tonight?
Okay, I will.
Because it's like that bit. Remember the bit...
How long is he in the drawer, though? He could be a bit smelly by now.
Yeah, it probably is. It's been like 7 years.
Oh.
I know, but it was like...
He'd be all musty now.
Yeah, but remember the end of Toy Story when Andy no longer wanted his toys and he gave them all away?
Yeah.
It's very sad.
It was sad, yeah. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
Hi, lads. One thing I do, I'm always getting given out for, is when you have some potatoes, beans and sausages for your dinner, I'll mix all the potatoes and beans together like baby food, and then I'll stick all the sausages in the top of it and then I'll sit down and I'll just eat it bit by bit. Cheers, thanks, Joe.
Is that not what's it called? Bangers and mash?
Toad in the hole.
Or Toad in the hole, yeah, that's what it is. Lavinia, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Lavinia.
Hi, how are you?
Now, this thing that you do in your adulthood is something I happen to know that our Jeremy does in his adulthood as well.
Oh, here, relax there.
Yeah, I think it's time you came clean about it. What do you do, Lavinia?
I play Legos.
Oh, thank God, that's the answer. I didn't know where you were going with that. Yeah, I've admitted that on the radio before.
You play with Lego?
I do, yeah. I just find it so, refreshing, keeps your mind busy, After a crappy week, you just take your mind off and start building something. And
you see,
after 2.5 years...
I used to love playing with Lego when I was younger, yeah? I really did. I loved playing with Lego. But I can only imagine, it's bad enough my missus having to look at me mashing peas into my potatoes and putting brown sauce. If I arrived home with a box of Lego and then spent the whole evening on the floor making it, I think she'd throw me out.
Well, my missus buys me Legos that she'll have peace, because she knows if she buys me... Like, she bought me the Lego Simpsons house there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it took me 4 days to build, and she said it was 4 days of bliss. So I locked myself, like you do, Lavinia. You lock yourself into a room on your own with the Lego and you're not seen for 4 days. I came out after 4 days, unshaven, eyes bloodshot, Adrian, hadn't showered in 4 days. And she
I know
hadn't
that feeling.
Isn't it great, isn't it?
Yeah, well, my husband does he was like, oh, I can't take this anymore. I'm going to go play guitar. So he locks himself in the room, and I stay downstairs, and he plays guitar for the 4 days. We come out, and how you do it?
You know, Lavinia, statistics prove, these are statistics I just made up, Adrian, by the way.
Oh, right,
statistics prove that your marriage is more likely to last if one of you locks yourself in a room for hours on end.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Actually, it's true.
I actually believe that.
Okay, well, I'm going to go buy a set of Lego and bring it home today, just to give her a piece.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Honestly?
I know, I'd love to.
But why don't you? There's no stigma.
There is.
No, there's not.
Lavinia just admitted it's something she did as a child.
Well, now, Lavinia, when you're in the shop, do you buy Lego on your own as an adult?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You see, I always bring the young fella with me and say it's for him.
Yeah, I would take my son sometimes so that it doesn't look that awkward, but I do, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of a stigma.
There is a stigma, so I'd have to bring a child with me, will I?
Okay, but there's a new Lego movie out at the moment, you know, Adrian? And they've a whole line of toys for Lego toys. You know Emmett?
Yes.
Do you know who Emmett is?
Yes.
Is it a Lego character from Lego movie? Why don't you go and buy one of those sets, 50 quid, and go home this evening, yeah? You can have a drink of alcohol with it if you want.
Okay.
So have your mashed potatoes with brown sauce, your Lego set, lock yourself if you have a spare room.
Yeah.
Lock yourself into the spare room for the whole evening, yeah? Say to the missus when you're going into the room, I'll see you tomorrow, I'm going in to make my Lego set. Okay? So she knows you're not out gallivanting with the lads. She knows you're in there. I'm telling you, by tomorrow, your marriage will be so much better.
Let me have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
Lads, I can't believe no one has said, cut the crusts off your bread. I'm 30 now next month and I still do that. It's classic.
So do you, Jeremy. It's obviously Jeremy. Actually, it's quite embarrassing. In the office, if he's having a sandwich, he literally cuts the crusts off the bread.
Could be worse. I could do what you do,
which is
you butter the bread before putting it in soup. That's disgusting.
Oh no!
You don't put buttered bread into soup. No, why?
Oh, you just do
buttered bread into soup.
Absolutely
vile.
Gracie.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do that you did as a child? Still,
I still suck my thumb.
You suck your thumbs?
One of them, yeah.
Oh, one.
You never suck two. It's always just a one.
Yeah, is it on your left or your right hand?
My right.
Your right hand. Okay, so you suck your thumb.
And I still have my little pillow. Well, it's not little, it's lovely and big.
From when you were a kid?
Yeah.
And do you suck that as well?
No, I would just hold it up to my face when I'm going to sleep.
And do you wash your hands before sucking your thumb?
Well, I wash my hands all the time, but I just love it. And my son actually sucks his thumb as well. So the two of us would sit on the couch and snuggle and suck our thumbs.
This is something, actually, Gracie, we'll have to talk about another stage, because thumb sucking is a huge, huge thing. I was in the cinema a couple of weeks ago and there was a woman sitting beside me. Now, this woman was in her 40s, I'd say.
Okay.
We went to see Mary Poppins, and this 40-year-old woman beside me, for the first half of Mary Poppins, she stood there sucking her thumb in the cinema.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
I enjoyed sucking my thumb.
Really?
And I didn't even notice I'd done it until a parent at the school said to me, oh yeah, sure, I see you sucking your thumb at the school.
Well, you didn't do it at the parent-teacher meeting, did you?
I would if needs must.
So, Gracie, there's somebody totally addicted to sucking her thumb. Thanks, Gracie. Kevin, what do you still do?
Good morning, gents.
Morning, Kevin.
I hate myself for doing this, and I can't get out of it. I salute magpies. One magpie. And I can't, and I get laughed at for the kids. And
you salute a magpie?
The single magpie, it's like one for sorrow, two for joy. That thing, because they mate like dolphins. And it's ingrained in me as a child, and I hate myself. I can't stop myself from doing it. I've given up smoking quicker. It's easier.
Now, I have to say, when I see a magpie, I always look for a second one, hoping to good God there's a second one around somewhere. Because of that rhyme, one for sorrow. So if you only see one, that's terribly sad.
Well, it's sad for the magpie because he's on his own.
Yeah, but if you see two for joy. Woo!
Because they mate for life.
Yeah, so anytime I see a magpie, I always look for a second one.
Yeah, so do I.
Lads, you need to get a life.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. And finally, Peter, what do you do?
Good morning, lads. How are you getting on?
Good, thanks, Peter.
Yeah, I drink the milk out of the end of the cereal bowl and all the cereal's gone. I pick it up and I actually guzzle the rest of it.
Rather than just pouring it down the sink?
Rather than pouring it down the sink, I guzzle it and I make the sloppiest of noise. I'm like a dog drinking from a water bowl.
It's a wonder all of us men are in relationships.
Yeah, it is. Taking your point there when you were saying to Adrian, when you go build a Lego in the room on your own, your marriage is better. That's because she's probably going to leave you.
Oh, my wife is going to... Well, geez, that's a Jeremy Kyle show next year. Jeremy's wife leaves him over his addiction to Lego.
Great stuff, lads.
Good to talk to you, Peter. Thanks very much indeed. All right, thank you very much indeed, all of you, for your calls.
So, Adrian, he said it live on the radio. No, he's going off tomorrow or after the show today to buy a Lego set, and he's going to take a photograph of it and put it up on social media tomorrow of you in the room building your Lego set.
By the way, we have a gift for one of our callers. We, starting today actually, every day we're giving you a chance to win a €50 Des Kelly Interiors gift card. And it's also to celebrate their brand new store now open on the Bellegarde Road in Tala. So for some lucky caller, Rachel, who was the lady who sucked her thumb? That was Gracie. Gracie, you've just won yourself a €50 voucher from Des Kelly Interiors, a €50 gift card from Des Kelly Interiors, just for publicly admitting that you suck your thumb.
But she's not going to walk into Des Kelly Interiors now sucking her thumb.
She doesn't drive in her car, so...
Can I have a new wardrobe?
Anyway, Gracie, congratulations. You've won yourself a €50 Des Kelly Interiors gift card. Now, on the way after the break, would you spend under €40 on your child's communion dress? I want to discuss that straight after the break.
98 FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Bellegarde Road, Tala.
98 FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Now, next on the programme, we've two reasons for talking about this next topic. It's been revealed in the news today that moneylenders are targeting families door to door, offering them loans to help them cope with the cost of communions. With the average family now spending over €700 on the communion day and parents putting themselves under huge financial strain, according to MABS, the Money Advice and Budgeting Service, moneylenders are taking advantage of this and targeting these parents. Here's the question I want to ask you. Do you believe that parents spend way too much on their child's communion day? Has overspending for the day gone ridiculous? And as a parent, how much did you spend on your child's big day, on their first Holy Communion? And here's the key question. How many of you would be willing to put your daughter in a communion dress that cost under €40? Well, Lidl has revealed today that their new budget communion outfits range for cash-strapped parents. Their bargain range has communion dresses for just $34.99. They went on sale over the weekend. And there are two styles of suit jackets for boys priced at $14.99, while the suit trousers are only $8.99. Now, I want you to just listen to those figures again. Communion dresses for just $34.99, and I saw a photograph of them online earlier on, and they're lovely. It's a communion dress. And then two styles of suit jackets for boys, priced at $14.99, while the trousers are only $8.99. So there's clearly a demand for budget clothes for the big day. But is there still a snobbery attached to communion clothes? I want you to tell me. Text me right now on 0877 98 98 98 and answer this question. How much did you spend on your child's communion? Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. How much did you spend on your child's communion day? And would you spend €35 for a girl's communion dress from Lidl? How many of you would be willing to spend under 50 quid on your child's communion clothes? Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
I was only in that shop the weekend, me and the missus, and we think it's a great idea. We're at a time now in Ireland where people are barely feeding themselves, and they're homeless and living in hostels and hotels, and not everyone has the money to spend loads. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay, and I'd like to hear from you. Do you think it's a great idea? And you might think it's a great idea, but would you do it? Would you spend 35 quid on your child's communion dress? Or in the case of boys, a jacket and trousers for 20-something euro. Call me right now on 6797981. Colette, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Colette.
How you doing?
Now, Colette, you... it says here that you wish they did those dresses when you were younger.
I did. I wish they did it nearly 17 years ago when my kids were that age.
All right, why? How much did you spend?
Over 200.
Over 200 on a dress?
On a dress, on a veil, on a shoes and stocks and everything, yeah.
Okay, so over €200.
Yeah.
Now, you see, I think that even though I think it's a fabulous idea that Lidl are doing this, as you heard from that message a second ago, people are cash strapped and everything else. Some people are struggling, but I still think that there is a snobbery about it. That people won't, even if they're broke, won't spend €35 for a communion dress.
I think that means they don't spend that on the communion dress. I mean, some of them are snobbery. I mean, if it's a little spoon, the communion dress for €45, I'd be jumping at it.
And like I said, I've seen photographs of them, and they're very nice. They are. It looks like a communion dress to me. I don't think anybody would notice, oh, you got that in Lidl. And sure, even if they did. But I still think that there is a snobbery, and I actually believe that people who can least afford it are the ones most likely to actually splash out the money.
I think it's all just like, oh, look what my child's having. My better dress than your child. It's not like a competition, really. You have to make up the false tan and everything. It's ridiculous.
Okay, it's ridiculous. She wishes they had those dresses when her children were younger. 35 quid. Would you spend 35 quid on a dress for your daughter, or how much is it? About 24 quid on an outfit for the young fella? I'd love to hear from you, because I believe... Actually, let's find out. I want you to text yes or no and answer that question. Would you buy a communion dress for €35 in Lidl? Just answer yes or no and send it to 0877 98 98 98. Simple question. Would you spend €35 on a Lidl communion dress? Text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
Hi guys, yes, I would pay €40 for a communion dress. However, I did spend €250 on my daughter's communion dress, but in saying that, I have 4 daughters and they will all wear it when their time comes. But absolutely nothing wrong with buying what your budget affords.
Oh. Right, bought one communion dress for $250 and the other girls are going to be wearing it. Is that not a bit unfair? Maybe it's just me. Call me right now on 6797981 and answer the question honestly. Please answer the question honestly. Would you buy a communion dress for €35 for your daughter, or the jacket and trousers for 25 quid from Lidl? Just answer the question honestly and text the word yes or the word no to 0877 98 98 98. And I'm interested to see the amount of yeses that are coming in, because I do believe that there is a snobbery. So in theory, you might say, yeah, of course it would. I'd spend 35 quid on a communion dress. I think in practice, it's possibly a completely different story. And I'd be interested to find out from Lidl how their sales are going. Because, okay, here's the thing. Lidl are selling these communion dresses. They do look lovely, I have to say. But if 5 people from the same class bought the same dress, the girls would be wearing the same dress, wouldn't they? And I think that's what people think. So text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Where am I going? Lorraine, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Lorraine. How are you?
I'm good.
Now, you had flower girls for your wedding.
Not my wedding. My son's wedding.
Oh, your son's wedding. Okay, very good. And so you had to get dresses for the flower girls?
We had to get dresses for the flower girls. We went everywhere, and I picked up 2 beautiful dresses in TK Maxx for €22 each.
Oh, right. 22 quid each?
Yeah. And they were absolutely fabulous. And we dressed them up, And it's the accessories that you put with it. And everyone thought they were absolutely fabulous. And when I told them how much the dresses were, which we weren't going behind the door saying, oh, they were only this or they were this or that, people couldn't believe it because they were so gorgeous on the girls.
Couldn't believe that they were only 22 quid.
That's it. Now, Adrian, I think you can, it might be online still, but there was a programme on Channel 4, if I can say that. It was well before Christmas. I remember I just happened to turn it on by fluke. And like that too, they were doing a blind survey and asking people to choose. And they had a designer dress, a dress from Oxfam, and 4 or 5 other different stores. I think it was one was wedding dresses and something like that, but they communion dresses as well. And people actually were surprised at the amount of people who picked the Oxfam dress for €16. Now, they didn't know which dress they were picking, but the one that they had that was for sale in Oxfam, I think, for £16. A lot of them went for that. And the ones that were designer and upmarket and in Harrods, and that they didn't go for them. So it just goes to show.
Now, I happen to know of somebody who got married in a wedding dress from a charity shop, and everybody loved the dress.
Yeah, well, I got married. My dress was a second-hand dress. My wedding dress.
And did that bother you?
No, not at all, because I thought it was beautiful. And it was lovely on me, and I loved it, and I enjoyed my day. And I think it's ridiculous, and it's not that I was scrimping or scraping or, money was tight or anything like that. It was nothing to do with...
It's just that you liked the dress.
It's just I liked the dress. And it's like the dresses that are in Aldi and Lidl and even in Dunnes Stores, and most of the stores are doing it now. And, like the dresses, they're beautiful. And so what if one of the other children has them? Sure, the boys wear a black suit or a blue suit. So there's 10 times the kids are all going to be wearing the same colours anyway.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. But I can't... you see, this is where I think... in fact, somebody just texted in a minute ago to say, I would, but my missus wouldn't, and I can hear the rows already. In other words, get a communion dress from Lidl. Because I think women would have it's more of a day for women, especially when it's a little girl, to have her dressed up to the nines. And I don't know...
But you dress the child up to the nines anyway. I mean, the dress, the shoes, the bag, the little throw or the cardigan, the umbrella, the gloves. The girls want all that. And like, you can do that, you don't have to go spending thousands. It's just gone too commercialised now, Adrian. It's gone ridiculous. I mean, from the mammies down to the children getting spray cans, and like, you can understand little girls getting their nails manicured. Now, I do, that's a little treat. But getting kids spray tanned is ridiculous.
Okay, well, we asked our listeners to text in, would you buy a communion dress for your daughter for €35? 52% said yes. 52% said yes, 48% said no, so it's an even split, actually. But there's still 48% of people are saying, absolutely no way. No way would I spend just 35 quid on a communion dress for my daughter. Not a chance. But 52% have said yes. I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797 981. Have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
My sister made my daughter's communion dress and it was absolutely fabulous. But to be honest, if I was really, really strapped for cash and I didn't have the money for a big fancy dress and whatever, I would bring her to Lidl or Aldi or whatever it is, and I'd let her see it, and if she likes it and if she's happy with it, oh yeah, I would buy it. But she has to be happy with it. It's not my decision, it's hers. But now that doesn't mean that if she wanted something more expensive and I couldn't afford it, I still wouldn't buy her something that I couldn't afford. But if she was happy with it and she felt that she liked it, yeah, I would buy it.
All right, thanks very much indeed. And there's two reasons we're talking about this today. One is it was revealed by the Money Advice and Budgeting Service, MABS, that the average family now spends around €700 or more on the First Holy Communion, putting parents under huge financial strain, leading to moneylenders getting involved and trying to encourage people to borrow loads and loads of money and then pay a fortune. But then on the other hand, Lidl are making it much easier for you because they are selling a bargain range of communion dresses for just €35 and 2 styles of suit jackets for boys. They're priced at $14.99 for the jackets, while the suit trousers are only $8.99. So you can kit out the young fella for €24 and the girl for $35. And we're asking, would you do it? And if not, why not? After the break, I'll be talking to somebody who spent over 500 quid on a communion dress. We're back in just a second.
98 FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala.
98 FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. We're in the middle of a conversation all to do with whether or not there is a snobbery around the First Holy Communion, and asking, would you spend €35 for a communion dress for your little girl? Or €24 or $25 for the gear for the young fella. Now, the reason we're asking this is because Lidl today revealed their new budget communion outfits for cash-strapped parents. There's clearly a demand for budget clothes for the big day, but is there still a snobbery attached to communion clothes? How many of you would be willing to spend under €50? Now, our poll shows that 52% of you said yes. But whether you actually would or not, I know it's easy to say it, but would you actually do it? Would you actually buy a wedding dress in Lidl? 52% of you said yes, 48% of you said no. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
My partner bought my stepdaughter a communion dress, costed £8 from England, and the rest of the money went to her bank account.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, well, that's okay. I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. This message says, I would. My little girl is making her communion in May, and I got her dress in Dunnes Stores, and it is a beautiful dress, says that message. And another one says, we paid €500 on the wedding dress, on the communion dress. Actually, maybe that's the problem, because lots of people like to dress their little girls as if it's their wedding day. But anyway, spent €500 on the dress. The day itself cost about €1,500. Wow. €1,500 for the whole communion day. Keep your messages coming in to me to 0877 98 98 98. They should all have to wear the same dress when they are in school. They have to wear uniforms, so nobody can seem better than the other. Most workplaces even have dress codes now, says Rod in Offaly. And what, you do the school organise a group deal with Lidl where you go in and get them for even less than €35? Yeah. €35, would you? Well, according to our poll, 52% of you said that you would. Now, like I said, it's one thing saying you would, it's quite another actually doing it. Angela, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Adrian, how are you?
Angela, you think it's ridiculous?
Absolutely ridiculous spending that kind of money. Do you know what I mean? On a communion dress. You know, they get to wear...
Sorry, you're talking about somebody spending like 500 quid on one?
Oh, God, yeah. Anything more than 100, 150 quid is ridiculous. There are some beautiful communion dresses out there now. You can get them in Dunnes. Do you know the Paul Costello ones? Like, they're stunning as well.
And in fact, I just read out a message from somebody who bought one in Dunnes recently. So, yeah.
Like, it's you know, and it's not like it's your wedding dress, right? These are kids who are going to go out and wear the dress and want to come home and get out of it straight away. I know down where my brother went to school, and what they had them do it in their uniforms.
And I know lots of schools do that, or they have a gown that covers your communion dress or your communion suit or whatever, so that everybody in the church looks the exact same. But once they get outside the church and they take off the gown, then they're all dressed to the nines.
Yeah, but what is the point on spending that kind of money on a dress that's going to be worn for a couple of hours?
Because we all want our little angels to look like little angels, basically. Our little girls especially.
They can look like beautiful little angels in a €40 dress. Do you know what I mean? There are plenty of even bridesmaid dresses out there that look like communion dresses that are just as nice.
Okay, so you think parents who are spending hundreds of euro buying expensive... I mean, you heard that message I read out a couple of minutes ago. Over 1,500 quid was spent on the communion day.
They're sick in the head. They're absolutely sick
But
in the head.
it is a once-in-a-lifetime day. It's not like you make your communion every year.
No, I know, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime day for a 7-year-old. And that's the thing. They're 7 years old.
Well, they're 8 now, mostly. Most of them are 8. But
okay, 8. So they're 8 years old, and you want to spend that kind of money.
But isn't it the same, except on a smaller scale, as getting dressed up for your wedding day? And people spend a fortune on wedding dresses as well.
Yeah, I understand that, but you know the big difference is you're spending the money on your wedding dress, whereas now you're forking out, 1,500 quid for a communion dress for a child. They're going to expect that then for the rest of their lives. Okay,
stay there for a second, Angela, because I want to bring in Roisin. You're on 98 FM, Roisin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Adrian?
You wouldn't buy a communion dress from Lidl. Why not?
No. I have a little boy making his communion, but I was 6. I was the youngest girl of 6 girls, and we were betting to the same dress.
Yeah, and in fact, we heard somebody a while ago saying that... she spent 250 quid on the communion dress for her daughter, but the rest of the daughters are going to wear it as well.
I thought if you have the money, I would want the child to have their own identity, their own style, their own likes, their own dislikes.
Rather than wearing the same dress.
Yeah, my sister did that to me, 2 nieces, that she had her older child was a completely different frame to the first child. And when my second niece put it on, it just looked ridiculous on her. Like, it wasn't taken in, it wasn't taken up. It didn't suit her at all. And personally, I just think it wasn't fair. She had the money, but I think it's more people saying, oh, like the christening suit. Me 2 boys wore the same christening suit. But it's more sort of, I think it's different when it comes around to the communion, just personally. But I think for myself that my son has autism. So I don't want him looking anything different. I don't want a reason to say, look at such and such. I just don't want them to be different.
You see, as I'm talking to you, Roisin, I'm looking at Lidl's website and their advert for the communion dresses and the little boys' suits and everything else. They really look the part.
I haven't seen them now until I turned the thing on this morning.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. I know it's loads of free advertising for Lidl, but they really look the part. The dress is absolutely gorgeous.
I agree, it is.
I don't know if they're doing... It looks like they're only doing the one, so there isn't a variety of dresses. But still, for 35 quid, your little girl will look like a little princess.
But is it that type of thing where you walk into the church and you have the same dress on as another mother and you just feel scarlet? Is
it the same for an 8-year-old?
I don't think they'd know, but I think I'd be really like, they have the same dress on. But as another lady said before, that it's how you accessorise. I think that does come down to how you accessorise or how you have their hair or whatever you're going to do, however you're going to...
Okay, so in answer to the question, the reason you wouldn't buy a communion dress from Lidl is because you wouldn't want the child to be dressed the exact same way as another child?
That plus I think that I don't know if it's the whole done things years ago that just still
you were forced to wear the same dress.
Yeah, I think that's my hang up on it.
Yeah, Angela, that's understandable, isn't it?
It is, yes, but I mean, that doesn't mean that if you go down and buy a dress somewhere else, that somebody else isn't going to wear it.
Oh, absolutely.
I
know, but there is less of a chance. It appears, and looking at the Lidl thing, it appears that they only have one. They've 2 types of boys' jackets, communion jackets, and they look very smart as well. But it appears they only have one type of communion dress. So all it takes is 5 parents from the one class.
Yeah, if 5 parents from their own class with a lovely dress, right? But then you turn around and go, do you know what? My one's going to wear a veil. My one's going to wear a headdress. My one's going to have an umbrella. Different gloves, different bags, different shoes. It's so easily done. You know, and that's the thing, as I said, like 1,500 quid on a bloody dress and then accessorise as well. You could be looking at the bones of $2,000.
Okay, stay there for a second. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message, which, by the way, you can send to us to 0877 98 98 98 if you want to record a WhatsApp voice message and send it to us.
Hi, lads. One thing I do, I'm always getting given out for is when you have some potatoes, beans...
Oh, sorry, that's not the right message, obviously. Potatoes and beans. Sorry, lads, which message am I meant to play there? I'm a bit confused, no. No, wait. Oh, sorry. There we are. Okay, now, is this the right message?
Hi, lads.
No, it's not. Okay. Daryl, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Daryl.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Daryl. How are you? Good, thanks. What did you want to say on this?
Well, first of all, I'm driving like a mad thing here. Just pulled in for a sec. No, we paid last year over 250 quid for my daughter's communion dress, but I would have absolutely no problem putting a dress on her for €34 from Lidl. It's about what the child looks like, and so what if 2 or 3 children have the same dress on? Their hairs are going to be different than that and the other, you know.
I know, but I mean, you know what it's like with women if they turn up at a wedding and 2 of them are wearing the same dress. They're not happy at all. In fact, I've known a woman to actually leave a wedding to go home and change.
Yeah, but it's children we're talking to, you know. Like, if 2 or 3 kids turn up with the same dresses on them, I mean, the adults need to get over it, you know.
Okay, so last year you spent over 250 quid on your daughter's dress. Would you?
Yeah, and
no, I have to tell you, Darren. Last year Lidl did it as well. They did communion dresses for cheap last year as well.
Well, I tell you, it's the first that I know now, I have to say, is I found out today, you know, that's it. If I had known last year, I would have had no problem going and looking, and if we were happy to put to think that the child was going to look lovely in it, I'd have put that on her, no problem at all, you know.
All right, let me have a listen to, I found the right one this time. This is the WhatsApp voice message I should have played.
Hey, young guys. I think all communions should be done in school on a school day. Bring them down to the church, let them make their communion, bring them back to class, and that be it. Job done. That should be brought in right across the board for communions and confirmations. At this day and age now, it's ridiculous spending that kind of money. It's people trying to be better than everybody else is ridiculous, and putting that kind of stress and pressure on people. Bring them to school, bring them down to the church, do it, back to class, job done.
Okay, and I know an awful lot of people would like it to be like that. And let me have a listen to one more WhatsApp voice message.
Hey, Adrian. I spent €1,000 on my daughter's dress. I got a maid out my wedding dress for her. Now, I had the money to do that, but if I hadn't got the money, I probably would get the dress out of Lidl. But if you have the money, I think you should do it, because it's only once a year, once in our life, and I think you should let them have it.
All right, thank you very much indeed. That's a message from Cheryl, and unfortunately I'm out of time. Like I said, most of you are saying you would buy the dress in Lidl or Dunnes or whatever, but when you hear a message like that saying I spent €1,000, I think that's where the competition starts, you see, and everyone tries to keep up, but have a look at them, they're actually lovely. Anyway, that's it from us for today. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Sorry, we're way out of time, we're rushed. We're back again tomorrow morning 10 a.m. Barry Dunn is on the way, and in the next hour he's got some great music lined up like these.
7 seconds away, but just as long as I stay.
98 FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala. 98 FM.